understand that somehow or another some drugs slipped into your life. How did that happen, brother?
Unfortunately,
You know, how did it happen?
curiosity,
Curiosity?
as a young man, I wanted to, experiment, what the other guys were doing back, in the early 80s. So,
Where were you raised up?
I was raised in East Baltimore, up around the Alameda and 31st.
Really?
And
Alameda and 31st? Man, that's as my daddy used to say. People lived up there. They were living high off the hog, man. I mean, y'all didn't have no food stamps up there. What are you talking about? That was places where people could walk the streets at night and everything. They didn't have any drugs up there, did they?
man, drugs were everywhere.
Oh my goodness! How old were you when you first took a drink or a drug? And what was it?
It must have been around 15. The marijuana and all that stuff. And then, I landed my first real job at the steel mill back in 1979.
Steel mill, Bethlehem Steel.
Eastern Stainless Steel.
Really?
Yeah, my father got me there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a millwright there, and,
So you were making money.
I was making big money.
How old were you?
I was 20 years old.
My Lord, a 20-year-old making plenty of money, boy, and know what reefer was. Man, you was in trouble and didn't know it.
I bought my first car at the age of 20, drove it off the showroom floor.
A new one at the age of 20?
At the age of 20.
Goodness, brother.
Drove it off the showroom floor.
You was the man.
I was the man.
Oh, good. Great. What did you buy?
A 1980 Buick Regal.
Really?
Bud Smith, Ricerstown Road.
Gracious,
drove
man.
it off the showroom floor. I'll never forget it.
I know the women were on you like white on rice.
Being young,
Uh-huh.
thought I was the man.
That's right. That's right.
And, eventually, I got caught up in some stuff I shouldn't have got caught up in, but thank God.
Thank God.
That he spared my life, and I'm here today to share my experience, strength, and hope.
You know, that statement you just made, thank God I'm here today to share my experiences and hope. A lot of people are not here today, man.
I understand that, and based on what he's doing in my life today, as a result of me changing my life compared to when I used to be caught up in the drugs and alcohol, it's good that we can get the message out there to people who are still struggling with addiction.
You know some people who died as a result of this?
Yes, I know some people who have died as a result of using drugs.
Anybody in your family, anybody close to you?
Not no family members, but some close friends, guys that I grew up with, some women that I grew up with, man, and it's just, they never got a chance to really come on this side of recovery to experience that different way of life, and unfortunately, I still have a family member that's still caught up, but all I can do when I see him is just, let him continue to see me travel this new way of life compared to the way I used to be, because he saw it firsthand. And today he doesn't see that person that I once used to be.
A lot of times we focus on the males who are caught up, but quiet as is kept, there are more females who are addicted than males. And they are suffering, many of them are suffering in silence. They're the ones that have the babies. They're the ones that are inside. Sometimes they got to take their baby to the crack house. Sometimes they got to leave the baby in the car or leave the baby at home for 3-4 days at a time.
And that is so true, And you're right about, we always think about it's the male that's so much caught up on the drugs. But we got to understand that, the disease of addiction does not discriminate whether you're black, white, male, or female.
Yes.
And the females, they really struggle, man. And a lot of times, sadly to say, when you see the women out there, prostituting and doing what they have to do just for a blast or whatever, it's not a pretty picture. But hey, that's what the disease of addiction will have you doing, in spite of going against your own will.
Yes. Yeah. What was it that got you into recovery, Terrell?
Well, what happened was, for a lot of years, I kept bouncing in and out the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. And what I understand today is, I never gave myself a chance at this program. So after going into 8 different treatment centers, I told myself that the last one that I go into, which was in January of 1999, that I must do whatever it takes, and whatever that they suggest that you do in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, I must do this time in order, to stay clean and save my life.
Did I hear you say that you went into 8 treatment centers?
8 different treatment centers.
8.
I said 8.
8 different treatment centers.
Yes, 28-day treatment centers.
Okay, all right. I want to ask you a dumb question, but a powerful question. Why 8?
For the simple fact, I believe, I would go in, I would come out, gained a few pounds, got a little glow back, thought I could still go around to old friends, people, places, and things. And as a result of trying to show the new me off, I was right back at square one, picking up that crack pipe. And I would get torn down again and run back to another treatment center, and the cycle just kept going over and over and over. And then, like I said, it came to a point where in '99 I told myself, look, God is not going to give me too many more chances, let alone 8 chances. So I took it upon myself to go in treatment center for this last time in 1999, and I haven't looked back since.
So what we're talking about is relapse.
Relapse, yes.
Tell grandmama out there and granddaddy, great granddaddy, who they don't know what relapse is. Tell them what relapse is.
Well, relapse, for all you listeners out there, is a person who had some clean time and unfortunately, went back to using drugs again. So, clean time, as a result of losing my clean time, is what we call a relapse. I couldn't sustain my clean time.
By me being a spiritual leader, being a pastor, then I know a little bit about Scripture. And in Scripture, it talks about how a dog will go back to its vomit. You ever heard about that?
Yes.
A dog will go back to its... As a matter of fact, I've seen, because I've raised so many dogs, a cat will do the same thing. But a dog will go back to its vomit. That means the dog will be sick, and he'll go eat some grass. I'm not talking about marijuana, but he'll go out there and eat some grass, and then he'll throw up. And then he'll come back and eat his vomit. And I was thinking to myself, whatever he threw up, that's not the way it was when he put it in him.
Exactly. And that holds true for addicts that's out there caught up, because in our basic text, it also speaks about being reduced to animalistic level.
Yes.
And when you look at that statement, being reduced to